Good morning, students. Today's topic in business studies and economics, which we are going to start, is the types of the production. So concentrate yourself. This is very important topic as far as exams are concerned. So we are going to start. Business activities definition is, what is business activity? So business activity is the process of transforming inputs into outputs by adding value. So business activity, for example, we can take an example of cutting wood in the forest. Then we take the woods to the workshops, and then we cut it into making different kinds of the things. So transforming inputs into outputs by adding value is called business activity. There are three main sectors of the business activity, and number one is primary industry, or this is also called primary sector, is where raw materials are extracted, grown, or cut down. So this is the definition of the primary sector or primary industry, where raw material are extracted, grown, or cut down. Examples are here: fishing, mining, and quarrying. Oil extraction, farming, forestry are the examples of the primary production. And the workers working in primary industries are called primary sector workers. For example, coal miners and fishermen. So this is primary sector. Likewise, the secondary industry or secondary sector is raw materials are turned into finished goods or semi-finished goods. Note that the building and construction industry and the utilities which supply water, gas, and electricity are included in this category. For example, engineering, building, manufacturing vehicles, furniture, clothing, food. So these are the examples of secondary sector. And the workers working in secondary industries are called secondary sector workers. Likewise, the tertiary service industry or sector. So tertiary sector supplies services of all kinds for all the other businesses, the government, and the consumer. So they are the provider of these services, and to whom? Of all kinds of services to the businesses, the government, and the consumers. The workers working in the tertiary sector industries are called tertiary sector workers. For example, shopkeepers and accountants, because these are the examples who are giving only the services. The tertiary sector is the biggest sector of the production. Like in any country, particularly if you are talking about Pakistan, so in Pakistan, tertiary sector is also the biggest sector, and it is growing day by day in size. There are three main kinds of these services. So we are now talking about these services. Services are of three kinds. Number one is personal service, such as the professional services of the teachers, because teachers, doctors, dentists, lawyers, and transport services are the kinds of the services in which the giver and taker comes into the contact. Likewise, like I'm a teacher, so I'm in direct contact with you. So this is called personal service. Like a doctor and patient come in direct contact with each other. It may be on live call as well. So they come in direct contact. So these kind of the services are called personal services. Next is commercial services, such as retailing, distribution, and advertising. So these are commercial services. Next is financial services, both for consumers and for primary and secondary sector. For example, banking, insurance. So these are three kinds of the services. Okay, beta, the question is now, classify the following occupations as primary, secondary, and tertiary. So shopkeeper, we have learned this is shopkeeper is a tertiary sector because it provides only services. Delivery man, driver, this is tertiary because he is only providing the services. Car body welder, so this is secondary sector worker because welder actually transform raw material into finished or semi-finished goods by doing something like welding. So it is secondary sector worker. Like bricklayer, this is secondary sector worker because he used raw material to transform into finished or semi-finished goods. And the miner, this is actually the primary sector worker because he is extracting something from the earth. So that's why this is called primary sector worker. The next question is, the table below shows the number of the numbers employed in various industries in our country. Agriculture, so every number will be counted as 1,000. So this is called 300,000, 200,000 because 000 is also given. So agriculture, insurance, coal mining, construction, entertainment, shipbuilding, distribution and catering workers are given, and the requirement is how many of these workers are employed in tertiary service industry. So first, our understanding should be clear about what is tertiary sector. So tertiary sector is a sector which provide only services. Out of these you can see agriculture is not tertiary, like insurance is, yes, it is tertiary because this insurance company only provides services, so this number will be added. Construction is not tertiary, yes, entertainment is tertiary, so 200 plus 100 will be 300, then distribution 300 plus this 450, and catering is also tertiary, so 450, 470 and 570 should be the answer. So how many of these workers are employed in tertiary service industry? So 570,000 should be the answer. So look here, insurance, entertainment, distribution and catering are the tertiary sector businesses out of these given. So these numbers will be added to make the answer. Okay students, the next topic which we are going to start is the chain of command. This is very important topic, so concentrate. Chain of production shows the various production stages through which a good or service passes before reaching the consumer. So consumer तक पहुंचने के लिए how many stages that thing has covered, that is called the chain of command. So this is in short words called the link between the different stages in the production process. For example, it is a process that links the different sectors of the industries, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. So this is actually the link between primary, secondary and tertiary sector before going to the consumer, and involves the use of the factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and enterprise. Now we are going to take an example because example will make our concepts more clearer. So farmers rearing goats are part of the primary industry because they are actually taking part with the raw material. They also grow vegetables and wheat and collect milk from cows. So these are the works of these are different tasks of the farmers. So this is actually primary sector industry. These ingredients are bought by the food processing division of the business. Definitely that skin, that milk, that meat will be purchased by some other firms from the farmers. It then processes them into the variety of the foods such as the sausage rolls, pastry products and the frozen foods. This processing is a secondary industry activities because they are actually transforming raw materials into finished or semi-finished goods. So this will be the secondary industry activity. Then the pastries might then be sold to a catering company which serves them at a buffet for business executives. This service is the part of the tertiary industry. So business add value at each stage of the production. So beta, the chain of the production actually shows the link between primary, secondary and then tertiary sector activities, and actually the use of the different factors of the production, that is land, labor and capital. And remember, that is very important, at each stage every worker that is connecting to that particular sector, it may be primary, secondary or tertiary, add values. So adding values is very important. Now Here is a question. Construct a chain of the production for a pint of milk, a newspaper, a bus ride, and a record. So this is a question for you. So make a chain of command like the example which you have just read. So this question is for you. Okay, beta, next topic which we are going to start, that is called interdependence. This is also linked with the chain of the command or different types of the sectors, because all sectors which are working in our society are interdependent with each other. So look here now. The chain of the production shows that businesses and their customers are highly interdependent. Farmers are dependent on the firms for the sale of the products. Farmers are actually taking milk from the cows, but they are dependent on the people who will take their milk to the factories for selling purpose. So they are dependent on the firms for the sale of their product. The good manufacturing firms are dependent on the firms which transport ingredients for the products. So for example, there is a firm, definitely that will be dependent on the drivers for taking the raw material from somewhere, because they will take the raw material to us and we will convert these raw materials into, so these are interdependent with each other. Here is another example. The transport industry is dependent on the oil companies which make petrol to the power its trucks, because power industry need oil. So they are dependent on the oil companies for moving their trucks. The oil companies are dependent on the workers all around the world who are employed in the oil industry. So oil companies are dependent on the oil well workers. So they will take the oil from the earth and will give the oil to the oil companies. So all these things are interdependent. Workers are dependent on the farmers for their food. So look here, this cycle is complete. We have started from the farmers. Farmers are dependent on the firms. Firms are dependent on the transport. Transport is dependent on the oil companies. Oil companies are dependent on the workers working on the oil wells. And the workers are dependent on the farmers again. So this is the cycle. Okay, students, the next topic which we are going to start about the production is the specialization. So specialization is actually a part of the business production. So when we produce something, definitely specialization will be there. So concentrate yourself now. First, the definition of the specialization is here. Specialization happens when one individual, region, or country concentrates in making one good or service. Specializing in what we do will leads to greater efficiency and higher economic output. Definitely when a person do one thing again and again, definitely he will get expert in that activity. So he will have greater efficiency and higher economic output. Next topic in specialization is the types of the specialization and types of the specialization. First type is specialization of the firms. Firms also specialize. A division of the labor takes place with employees specializing in different jobs. So when firms get specialized in doing something, they actually divide their whole working process into different departments. For example, marketing department, purchasing department, finishing goods department. So they divide their departments. So firm also specialize. A division of the labor takes place with employees specializing in different jobs. This allows the firms to use complicated machinery and production process, with work becoming divided into different functions represented by main departments. For example, production department, sales department, buying department, etc., that are staffed by specialists. So there will be specialist in purchasing, specialist in selling, specialist in making. So this is the specialization of the firms. Next type is specialization of the countries. Countries also specialize. In many cases, what they specialize in depends on their climate, and natural resources. So this is the important point about the specialization of the countries. Specialization of the countries mainly depend on their climate and natural resources. As far as Asian countries or subcontinent is concerned, in subcontinent we are talking about Bangladesh, Pakistan and India. So climate actually favors our agricultural products. So we are expert in agriculture in the world. For example, in growing wheat, in growing rice, in growing fruits, etc. So climate matters. So second thing is natural resources. We may take the example of the Arab countries. So Arab countries is actually having oils, a lot of oil. So Arab countries are specialized in oil products. Likewise, England is specialized in financial services. Many Mediterranean countries, for example, Norway, France, these countries are specialized in tourism because climate there is very good. So most of the people try to go there for tourism purpose. So they are specialized in tourism. So here are some examples include Bolivia and tin production, many Mediterranean countries and tourism, Gulf states and oil production, South Africa and gold mining. So there may be historical influences such as the development of the banking and financial services in Great Britain. So this is the specialization of the countries. Next type is specialization of the people. People become trained for different occupations such as the teacher, nurse, welder, insurance clerk, etc. So beta, individuals may also be specialized. So they choose a field and get education in that particular field, work again and again, expert themselves in particular fields. Examples are teachers, doctors, pilots, welders, nurses. So these are the examples of the specialization in individuals. People therefore have to depend on others to provide them goods and services what they want. This interdependence relies on the use of the money to buy the various goods and services demanded. Next topic in this is advantages of the specialization. So the first advantage of the specialization is unit costs are reduced because manufacturing process can take place more easily because the persons, firms or countries are expert now. Specialist equipment can be used, leading to more efficient production. So when the firms, individuals or countries are expert in something, definitely they will use complicated machinery, and by using complicated and advanced machinery we will be able to make more. So efficient production will be there. Next is employees become specialized and therefore quicker and more efficient. So they will be quicker and more efficient. Next is lighter work. So when a person is expert in doing something, definitely he will get lighter. He will not take burden because he is expert. Like a doctor, he will not be burdenized. So because he is specialized in his field. Like a teacher who is expert in teaching will not be burdenized because he is expert in teaching. So lighter work. Next is more occupations are available. So more and more specialization is there, more occupations are available in the world. A producer may be able to charge higher price from a customer. The customer is prepared to pay more for expert specialist knowledge. For example, a cosmetic surgeon. So the next advantage is this one, you may charge higher for a specialist good. There are also some disadvantages of the specialization. First is there is a risk of boredom for some employees, leading to lower job satisfaction and possibly labor disputes or lower quality production. The first disadvantage in this topic is definitely when you are doing same thing again and again. Likewise, I'm a teacher, I'm doing same thing again and again. I'm teaching today, tomorrow I will come again and will teach a different class the same thing. So there may be a possibility of boredom. So this is the first disadvantage. Next is a single group of the workers taking industrial action can halt the production line. For example, in a firm which is divided into production department, purchasing department, making department, finished goods making department, if one department is gone on strike, the whole process may be on the halt. So this is another disadvantage. Unemployed workers may possess narrow specialist but out of the date skills. So this is another disadvantage. For example, as far as I'm talking about the Pakistan or particularly Lahore, at one time kite flying was a very big business in Pakistan. So the person who got themselves expert in making kites are now unemployed because the skill is now outdated. That is not required in our country now. So this is another disadvantage of getting specialized. Next disadvantage is goods and services may lack variety because division of the labor can lead to large outputs of the identical products known as the standardization. So this is another disadvantage. So when the firms, countries or the persons got themselves specialized in doing something, they will make products in bulk. So variety will not be there because they are making products in bulk. And the last disadvantage is a loss of the traditional skills due to the use of the machinery. Because in specialization, complicated and advanced machinery is used. For example, at one time, a lot of the years back, pot making, clay pot making was a big business in the world. But because of the use of the advanced and complicated machinery, now clay pot making is not in demand. So this is another disadvantage. Now, beta, here are some questions. Identify one advantage and one disadvantage for employees. Employees stands for individuals. So advantages, employees are more efficient, but the disadvantage may be employees may become bored with their work. Next is using an example of bread or clay pot. Explain with simple illustration how division of labor or specialization could be used to make the products. So clay pot or bread is given. We are taking example of clay pot. So division of labor in clay pot making could include one person preparing a clay. So he will collect clay. Proper efficient clay will be collected from somewhere. One person may be appointed for that one. Next person may be spinning or making the pots, and the next person, definitely one person will be there for making the pot because the clay is collected now. Next person may be firing the pots. Next person may be decorating the pots. Next person may be packing the pots for the sale of the customer. So this is the division of the labor in clay pots. Okay, students, the next topic which is going to be start is automation. The use of the largely automatic equipment in a system of manufacturing or other production process. So the use of largely automatic equipment in a system of manufacturing, this is called automation. So the advantages are reduced production cost, because when automatic machines will be used, there will be less persons required, work will be more faster, things will be made more faster, so less cost production will be there. Next advantage is decrease in the part cycle time. So part cycle time stands for a cycle will be completed when a batch will be completed in short time. So this is another advantage of the automation because work is more quicker now. Next is improved quality and reliability. So machines normally make things in a very good quality. This is normally seen. So this is another advantage. Next is better floor space utilization. When machines are fixed somewhere, there is no need to move the machines. So better floor management can be taken there when automation is there. So this is another advantage. Next is reduce waste. Robots are so accurate that the amount of the raw material used can be reduced, decreasing cost of the waste. Definitely machine normally reduce waste. Next is saves local jobs. So local jobs will be saved because less person will be required normally, and the persons which are required will be taken from the nearby surrounding, because when machines were not there, a lot of skilled workers were required, and workers normally come from far away areas. So this is another advantage of the automation. Next is stay competitive. So stay competitive stands for you normally compete with your rivals in a very proper way. So this is another advantage of the automatic machines. So when you use automatic machines, advanced machines, you will be definitely make more advanced products, and you will have an edge over your rivals. So this is another advantage. Now the disadvantages are also there. One is technology limits. Listen, beta, technology always limits. Technology cannot make everything. So if you want to make something different, there will be no specification in that particular machine. So technology limits. A machine cannot make everything, but a human brain can make different things. So this is an disadvantage of the automation. Next is economic limits. Certain tasks would cost more to automate than to perform manually. Automation is typically best suited to the processes that are repeatable. So this point is to remember. When we have repeatable tasks, automation is good. But when repeatable tasks are not there, automation is not good. Next is unpredictable development cost. So this is another disadvantage of the automation. We cannot predict the development costs. So what are the development costs that will be known after making something? Next is initial costs are relatively high. Definitely at the first stage, when we require some kind of machine, I require maybe 10 machines. So initial cost will be very high. This is another disadvantage. A skilled maintenance department is often required to service. So this is another disadvantage. Definitely, if we are having a lot of machines are in our firm, maintenance will be required time to time. So maintenance department should also be there. This is another disadvantage. Next topic is also about the production. This is very important topic as well. So the private, external, and social. So beta, three terms are involved now. So try to understand. Private stands for the person who is purchasing something, for example, a consumer. External stands for the person who is not purchasing as well as not selling. And the social stands for the society on a whole. Now I will give you an example and you will understand this thing more clearer. For example, there is a shop which is selling cigarettes. The person who is selling cigarette is called seller. Definitely there will be a person who will go there and ask him to give him a cigarette and give him a money. That person will be called purchaser. He will inhale the cigarette, but the person who are passing by that person, who have not purchased the cigarette as well as they have not sold the cigarette, will also inhale the smoke and will be affected by the activity. That person is called third party or external. And on the whole, when person will inhale cigarette, will burn this cigarette, society will be polluted. So this is called social. So now we are going to read this topic. Things will be more clearer now. Private cost refers to the unsatisfaction, because cost stands for unsatisfaction, benefit stands for satisfaction. So private cost refers to the unsatisfaction or the disadvantage taken by the consumers in giving up a part of their money income in buying goods and services. So definitely the person who purchased cigarette and smoke, definitely that person will get damage. So this is called private cost. And private benefit. So private benefit, maybe we can take the example of eating fruits. So a person who actually spends money on purchasing fruits and eat fruits will get benefit. So this is called private benefit. So private benefit refers to the satisfaction, advantage taken by the consumers in giving up a part of their money income in buying goods and services. Next is external cost. An external cost occurs when producing or consuming a good or service imposes a cost upon a third party. So I have just give you an example. The person who is passing by a smoker will also inhale the smoke, and definitely he will get also the damage. Maybe he will have to go to the doctor after some time. So that is the cost taken by the third party. So this is called external cost. Likewise, external benefit is also there. For example, there is a garden full of flowers, and a person who is actually investing money and doing effort to maintain that garden will have the benefit. That benefit for that person, for gardener, will be private benefit. But the passerbys who pass by the garden will also have good impact, because they will see beautiful flowers and will get better sensation. They will also smell the flowers. They will have better sensation. So this is called external benefit. So external benefit is occurs when producing or consuming a good or service imposes a benefit upon the third party. Likewise, there are also social costs and social benefits. So we can take another example here. For example, if there are lot of smokers in a country, they will spoil the environment of the country. So as a society, that society will get cost, that society will get disadvantage from those smokers. This is called social cost. Likewise, we have taken an example of gardens. So if there are a lot of gardeners in a country, persons who like gardening, so if there are a lot of gardens in a country, that country will look good like Mediterranean countries. So those as a society will get benefit. This is called social benefit. So social cost is the total cost to the society from producing or consuming a good or service. Social costs include all the private costs plus external cost of production, consumption. If a good has significant external cost, then social cost will be greater than the private cost. Likewise, social benefit is the total benefit to the society from producing or consuming a good or service. Social benefit includes all the private benefits plus external benefits of the production, consumption. If a good has significant external benefits, then the social benefits will be greater than the private benefits. So here is an example now to understand it more. For example, cycling to work. For example, there are a lot of persons who cycle to work in a country. So what will be the private advantages to the person who cycle, to the third party, and as a society? So we are discussing the benefits of cycling. So private benefit, external benefit, and social benefits are going to be discussed. If we cycle to work, the private benefit include lower cost of cycling rather than driving. So cost will be lower. We will not have to purchase the oil more because we are cycling. Number two, health benefits of the cycling. This is another advantage. Next is ability to avoid congestion and quicker journey to work. So congestion will not be there, like roads will not be congested. Social benefits of the cycling may also include external benefits. So external and social benefits are now we are discussing. Lower congestion for the other road users. So on the roads, lower congestion will be there. Number two, lower pollution levels from the decision to cycle rather than drive. So lower pollution will be there. Next, better health may lead to the lower health care costs. So when better health will be there in the country, lower health care costs for the country will be there. There will not be, there will less hospitals will be required, less clinics will be required, less doctors will be required, so lower healthcare costs will be there. The equation for this type of the question is private cost plus external cost is equal to social cost. So this is the equation for this topic. And lastly, we am giving you a worksheet for solving the lecture we have taken just before. This worksheet is actually from that lecture. So read the questions carefully and answer the questions. Number one is define business activity. Then write a note on the sectors of the business activity. So sectors are three. Business activity is an activity in which you transform raw material into finished or semi-finished goods. What are the three main kinds of these services? Three main kinds of the services are personal, commercial, and financial services. Classify the following occupations as primary, secondary, and tertiary. So this is question for you. Next question is define the chain of the production. Next is construct a chain of the production for pastries. Next is what is meant by the interdependence. So look clearly, look carefully. We have just discussed all these topics. Next question is what is meant by specialization. Write a note on the types of the specialization. Write any 5 advantages and 5 disadvantages of the specialization. Using an example of the bread or clay pot, explain with simple illustrations how division of the labor or specialization could be used to make the product. Next is what is meant by the automation. Give any 5 advantages and 5 disadvantages of the automation. Next question is define the following terms: private cost, external cost, social cost, private benefit, external benefit, social benefit. And the last part is in cycling. Write any 3 private benefits and 3 social benefits. So beta, try to solve this worksheet. This will be very helpful for your final exams.